Okay, good morning again. Hopefully you guys can hear and see me. We're going to go ahead and just kind of flash the risk disclosure here really quick, guys, and continue our review. Apologize for the technical difficulties. Sometimes they're unavoidable. Hopefully you guys can, if I can get a 1 in chat to indicate that you guys can indeed hear and see me, and while I display the risk disclosure. Okay, excellent. All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to let that, yes, okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go ahead. I was about to load up my charting platform here and kind of begin our discussion. So I'll go ahead and do that now. We'll go ahead and load up the gold market here. I was about to run through my review of gold. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to take a look at the daily chart and see what the daily chart is telling us. Now, yesterday we had a little bit of a I guess maybe more of a bearish session in the gold yesterday. A little bit of a larger sell-off than I expected, but nonetheless, it's still still kind of maintaining this bullish structure here, right? So we still are above our 9 EMA here. Okay. As I mentioned, we had a little bit of a pullback, which was probably not um, um, a surprise given the kind of the vertical move that we've been of late, to have a little bit of a rest here and a little bit of a pullback. Okay. So nonetheless, we have again opened the day higher. Okay. Indicating that there's again some pressure or some interest here, again restored back to the upside on the daily chart. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart and see what the 4-hour chart has to say. Looks like we are maybe developing a little bit of a range kind of price action here. Looks like, I don't know if this is an ascending wedge or some sort of symmetrical pattern that we're developing here, but it appears that maybe we are entering into some sort of wedge pattern. Okay. Now this wedge pattern is coming pretty close to the apex of the apex, right? So now the feeling is that we are going to make a move, and I guess initially maybe the thought that this move was going to be to the downside. Equities were rallying, gold was selling off here a bit, but we came down to a level of support here around 38.40, and have since rallied. Okay, so taking a look at the 30-minute chart, we'll take a look and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action as a start of our review here. So we'll open up our fixed range volume profile here and get a sense for where price is in relation to current pricing here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and locate my fixed range volume profile if I can locate it here now. Thought it was under here somewhere. There it is. Okay, we're going to go ahead and from the start of the session to the close of the session. Okay, and here we are at the upper end of value, right? So we've just broken above this value range. Still, I would say kind of inside, at least on the shorter time frame, inside this swing lower. Okay, right here, right? We had a swing lower, and now, okay, now we have a break above the value range. Now the question now becomes, is this going to allow us to get back to the highs of the day, which is right around 39.20? Or are we going to potentially get, as we approach these levels, there's a possibility, certainly, of, you can see here that this is the upper end of the value range on the visible range volume profile. This area here around 39.14 could offer us maybe a potential area where we could see a return of the sellers. Okay. So this is an area right here that I would be particularly interested in seeing how price reacts at that level. Right now, you can see that we are indeed in some sort of bullish structure inside, kind of a bearish swing. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what the other markets or other market sessions have been able to do with this market. So I seem to have lost my initial balance. So we're going to go ahead and add this back in. So this will also serve as education as well. We have the initial balance range that I use from CZOA. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that and see if I can modify it to my liking here. So again, instead of using black, I use yellow as my colors here, and then I color in the extension, right? I want lines for the extensions here, okay? So and then I'm going to modify this not to the 1 hour, to the 30-minute. I use the 1 hour, okay? I'm going to go ahead and load up Asia. You can see Asia, at least initially, was to the downside. All right, so we got a very nice extension here to the downside. We got a price to move, right? We had a swing lower, okay, a swing to the downside, and then we had a little bit of a rally, okay, throughout the day. And then during Asia, right, we had a little bit of a sell-off here, right? So 100, 200, was that 100, 200? Yeah, pretty good extension here to the downside, right? Nice little extension here to the downside. Let's make sure that I actually have it enabled here because I don't believe I'm seeing it. There it is. We'll color that in yellow. Okay, there it is. Or red, sorry. There it is. 200% extension. I don't know, guys. Every time I'm come to this room, how often do we get a reversal away from the 200% extension of the market, right? We get down to this level, we get extended in one direction, we find that level and reverse back the other way, okay? This is more than just a coincidence, okay? All right, almost daily, right? As Aslan, right? So almost to the point where maybe I should be looking to trade it. All right, let's see. All right, so Asia was higher. Let's see what London on the lower. Okay, I should say Asia was lower. London is, wanted to say, is higher. Okay, so London managed to break the range to the upside, right? We got a very strong candle here to the upside. All right, so Asia down, London up. Let's take a look at the current session, see what kind of range we're developing. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a cat and mouse game between London and Asia, right? Or as my prior mentor used to call it, the Tom and Jerry chase. Okay. Okay. All right. So here we are. We're establishing the range. We're inside the second 30-minute candle. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, I think this is an area that while we are in some sort of bullish range, we need to be cognizant of the fact that we have yet to break above, right? We have yet to break above the this level here. So I would expect that this 39.20 level could continue to be resistant, and that we could find maybe some sellers kind of stepping into this market. Okay. Right now, I feel like maybe we are a bit extended, but in any case, the idea here is if price should exceed, yeah, that happens to be with the 200% extension would extend this range to some degree. Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at, Aslan. The 150 and then 200% extension of the initial balance range often provides us some sort of reversal in price. Right. So right now we're inside the initial balance range, really nothing to do at this point. All right. We are a bit extended here to above 9 EMA but we are beginning to see that we are making higher highs and higher lows. Again, we have this swing here that's kind of ominous, right? So and right now I would say that we're probably in a pretty deep retracement, at least I would say to the 61.8, but it could be further here. All right. Yeah, so let's reverse this. Right, so we're beyond the 61.8%. Okay, so the expectation is if the sellers were strong, they probably would be stepping in at this point. Okay, so I'm going to draw one other level here, just let's see, we're going to see if we can get to the 78.6. Okay, 76. All right. So this level right here could also present an area. Maybe we could get a reversal right around 3907. Okay. That might be an area, and that would be close to the proximity here. So I would say we're not necessarily out of the woods of maybe getting some sort of reversal in price. Okay. So, and that kind of falls in right around the, let's see, the 50%, right? 50% extension of this move, right? Initial balance and sitting on your hands is so profound. Yeah. So right here, like I said, this area right here, we have a little bit of a confluence, right? This is now currently the 50% extension of this initial balance range, and the also the 78.6% retracement of this level. So this level right here, around 3910, would not be necessarily a bad location, maybe for the possibility of a reversal in price. Yes, we have about PMI, yeah, in about 55 minutes that could help maybe kind of as a catalyst for that, right? Right. So let's go ahead and take a look at yeah. So like I said, heading into the session, while we are in some sort of bullish structure, I am a little leery. Okay, I am a little leery of the type of move that we're getting back to the upside. While we are making progress, I still feel like we're inside this kind of bearish swing here that could produce maybe some sellers here up at the highs. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the crude oil. We'll move on to the crude oil. Looks like on the daily, again, I think yesterday we were talking on how bearish we were on this market. And again, I think we still continue to see signs of weakness. We'll go ahead and remove some of our bars here and not bars, but some of the drawings that we have on the chart. So you can see here, we're on a steady decline here in this market. 1, 2, 3, 4 straight days of downward pressure in this market. We've just broken some structure here to the downside. I think we've kind of alerted already to some degree, right, that this 61 level could offer maybe some 60-50 level could offer us some level of support. And if that doesn't hold, then I would say that 57, 56 is maybe an area that we could eventually reach in the crude oil market. All right. So right now, I'm not seeing anything in the way of any sort of strength on the buy side, right? Right now, the market seems to continue to be auctioning to the downside, and that's being well received. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the 4-hour chart. We'll look at the 4-hour chart and see what 4-hour chart has to say. Again, you can see that we remain under some structure here to the downside. We are kind of staircasing, right? We're staircasing. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So is this going to be another lower low? Another lower high leading to a lower low? Well, I'm looking to the left here. Is there anything that could stand in its way? Well, yes, we have the 60 level, right? The 60 level could stand in its way, right? So 60 could offer us maybe an area where we could potentially see a reversal in price, right? 60 may not go quietly, okay? 60 may hold and give us maybe a little bit of a move back to a known level of prior support. Okay. So let's take a look at the 30-minute chart and see what we're seeing on the 30-minute. Again, we continue to see some downward pressure in this market. Looks like we are starting the beginnings of maybe an area where we are getting a little bit of support, right? A little market is showing that maybe they have this area here around 60-50, that there's maybe an area that of interest to some of the buyers. Now, we really haven't broken any significant structure here to the upside. We have 61.40 here that's been resistant. We are seeing that, again, we're seeing some wicks, right, to the buy side, but we still haven't really managed to get above the 9 EMA or the VWAP here, right? So as long as we remain below those two, I would say there's still a possibility that we can continue lower. You can see here, based on the fixed range volume profile, a fair amount of interest, a large volume bar here, right at 60.54. Okay, so this area here does appear to be an area of maybe some interest on the buy side, but we haven't really made any significant progress higher here, right? We managed to, I guess, maybe stall the momentum, to the downside. Okay. Let's take a look here at the initial balance ranges across the various markets. We'll start off with the Asia session here. Okay, so Asia, we have actually a rally, right? Again, a very nice rally in Asia, right? Initial balance, right? We were in balance, break, and off we go, right? Balance inside initial balance, break to the upside, and the 9 EMA offers us a nice way of managing all the way to the upside. 400% extension, right? In Asia, all right? London had a different story for this. London looks like was not quite as bullish, all right? So whatever Asia was able to rally, London said, not under my watch. We had a nice little extension here to the downside, a retest of the initial balance low, and we went down to at least the 100% extension. Now we haven't really been able to we're kind of been in range of late here during the London session. We do see that we have a fair amount of volume here to the downside. All right. Right. You can see here the volume delta is still indicating that maybe there's some more downside. Is that a failed auction? Yeah, it failed. It failed to auction to the upside, right? London failed to auction up to the upside and reversed. Yes, Aslan, that is an example of a failed auction. Now we only experienced that once in any particular session. So if we happen to go back inside the initial balance range, that's no longer a failed auction to the upside. That's just range. Okay, that's just range price action at that point. Okay, a failed auction happens once a session, right? So in this case, we failed auction to the upside. So I would have to say until unless we close back inside this initial balance range, and we'll go ahead and now take a peek here at the regular session to see what kind of initial balance range we're establishing here. So we have a relatively narrow range that's establishing on the low end of the market. Okay, we got some reaction away from this area that could maybe indicate that maybe there is some sort of demand around the 60, 60, 50, 60, 40 level. Again, as long as price remains below VWAP, my view remains bearish. Okay, if we start to get a close above, then maybe we can start thinking maybe an extension above. I think we need to be wary of any sort of bullish move. Could be of the variety of London, right? Could be of the failed auction variety, right? We auction up to the upside only to find sellers. So this area right here, I would say, would be kind of a ripe area for some selling as long as we do not close above 61.36. All right. All right. So before I move on to the equity markets with about 17 minutes here, just kind of again give a little bit of a plug here to the portal and encourage you, for one, to hit the like and subscribe if you have not already done so. If you're not a subscriber, I would encourage you to do so. And don't be hesitant to leave a comment or two on how this analysis is supporting your view and ability to navigate the markets. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ was in a pretty good rally, I think, for most of the day yesterday, right? We had a very strong rally to the upside. And today looks like we're giving a little bit of that back. So let's take a look at the daily. All right. So again, we're getting some rejection candles here up at the top, right? Some selling wicks up at the top, the highs here. Okay. And again, I did a little bit of Fibonacci analysis on this most recent swing. And I said, well, there's still a possibility that this market could, let's see if I just take this swing here and then this swing here, that we could reach a couple of levels above us here, right? So we have 25,611 and we have 26,295. Seems a bit unrealistic, but based on the pattern, those are reasonable targets that we could potentially reach in this current price move. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. We'll kind of examine what we're seeing here We have a developing bearish engulfing candle, as you can see here, up at the highs. You can see that these types of patterns in the past have offered a little bit of a swing to the downside, right? Had a bearish engulfing here, led to a move lower. Bearish engulfing here, led to a move lower here. Are we going to potentially see the same here? Well, I'd like to see price get below my 9 EMA, at least give me a little bit of indication, a little bit of, but there's certainly not certainly would not be out of the realm of possibility that we maybe come back potentially down to point of control before we see any sort of move higher. Okay, that's not out of the realm of possibility. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. See what the 30-minute chart is telling us. Okay, so 30 minutes, you can see that price is below our VWAP and below our 9 EMA. Have we entered maybe in a swing that's going to take us back down to this point of control here? Certainly not out of the realm of possibilities here, right? So as long as price remains below VWAP and the 9 EMA, well, I see this 25,031 as a reasonable target for a move. Okay, to that before we see, and that would maybe support kind of a more of a range type of market. Okay, so let's open up our fixed range volume profile. Let's get a sense for where price is, but I'm feeling like it might be a little bit on the range side today. All right, so it looks like we are maybe inside of some balanced ranges. Actually, we're at the upper end, just above the area here, right? So here we are, just above the value area range. So as long as price remains above, this seems to be maybe an area where we could potentially bounce off of, okay, and continue in the opposite direction. Or if we decide to accept value, we could see an entire rotation all the way down to this level down below. So interesting level here around 25,100. Okay, 25,100 is going to be an interesting level for me. I see that there's some level of support here on the left-hand side that caused us to rally from here in the past. Is this going to offer us maybe an area where price could potentially reverse? Okay, do we get a 3-bar reversal pattern of some sort that leads us higher? Okay, this is a nice reference level where we can manage our risk for that possibility. Okay, so market right now, at least on the lower time frame, is a bit bearish. I'm going to take a peek here at the 4-hour. 4 hours was developing a bearish engulfing bar, right? So again, is this bearish engulfing bar just a way to get to a better place on our 9 EMA to offer us a continuation move? Or are we going to follow the path of some prior bullish engulfing or bearish engulfing candles that we've had here? Okay, so again, right now, given the bearish engulfing candle that I'm seeing right now, I feel like maybe we're in for maybe a little bit of a pullback. It would not be out of the question here if we came back to the 25,000 level, right, before we saw any sort of continuation move back to the upside. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at the ES here, and we'll look at the ES. And the ES is, again, showing a little bit of difficulty continuing in its current path. Right, we're starting to see maybe a little bit of slowdown in the momentum to the upside. Right, candle yesterday had wicks on both ends. Current candle that's developing has a wick on the upper end. Right, so that is indicating that maybe there is a little bit of momentum that's being lost up at these levels. Okay, people are starting to realize that maybe we're at some prices here that I'm not maybe feeling all that comfortable being. Okay. So I'm just going to maybe take some off the table here, possibly. Okay, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting with some of these wicks on these candles above. All right, looking at the 4-hour chart, again, similar to the NASDAQ, we've got a developing bearish engulfing candle. Well, what happened when we had these types of candles before? Well, it led to some sort of swing to the downside, very tradable swing to the downside. So if price does manage to close below my 9 EMA, well, I would not be surprised if that managed to get us down all the way down to 67.06, right? That's the point of control for this visible range that we're looking at, price range that we're looking at the moment. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart, okay? Again, I'm going to go open up my fixed range volume profile and get a sense for where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. And looking at this, you can see, similar to the NASDAQ, we are coming up against, or inside actually, looks like we are inside value, right? So we're maybe a little bit further along on that little hypothesis I had given you earlier, right? This was supposed to be an area of some support. We've reached an area of point of control here on this visible range volume profile. So is this area going to offer us a reversal in price? Okay, is this going to offer something along these lines, or are we going to get some volume to accept or continue to accept lower pricing? And again, this area down below, value area low, would not be an area that we could not reach, right, before we see sort of any sort of reversal in price. So similar kind of view, similar kind of action that we're seeing in the NASDAQ is also evident in the S&P. Right now on the shorter time frame and then sort of the medium time frame, it's kind of indicating to us that maybe we are in some sort of bearish structure, but we need to be aware of maybe coming into some areas that could offer maybe some support in this market and maybe cause us to stay in some sort of range, especially given the fact that we are in on the last day of the week. Okay. All right. So let's take one final peek here at the Dow, and then we'll move on and do one final pass across all the markets here. We'll start off with the daily chart here. Again, the daily kind of giving us an indication that the market wants to head higher. We have that channel that I had drawn here. Might need to adjust this a little bit. Okay, so you see that the the triangle pattern, this ascending wedge pattern, right? We're at the top end of that ascending wedge. We've kind of wicked above it, and now we are in the thick of it here, right? So the question now becomes: Are we going to close the day above this triangle pattern? If so, that could potentially lead us to higher prices. If we fail, and we're seeing some signs maybe of some weakness here as we approach these highs, if we fail, then we're obviously looking at, say, maybe 46,400 as maybe initial stop, maybe as low as 46,200. But I'm kind of interested to see how we actually manage to close this current candle and whether that candle closes above this line that I've drawn here. Again, maybe it's a developing one because I don't have a whole lot of history here on the highs here, right? I had one data point that says this level is not very receptive to higher prices. Now we're back to this level again. So this line above is a little bit squiggly, right? Because I don't have much evidence historically to kind of support that line. So let's take a look and see if the 4-hour chart maybe gives me a little bit of history here that I can maybe use. Okay, nothing really. All right. So again, we have evidence, right? We have evidence based on this bearish candle here that maybe we have found some sellers, right? So it would not be out of the realm of possibility here if we have a leg lower to the bottom end of this triangle pattern, right? Especially if we see that price gets below our VWAP. No government means no NFP data release. Who knows how the market will take that? Okay. All right. Let's take a look here at the 30-minute chart. Again, we're starting to see some evidence here that price wants to head lower. Okay. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile and just kind of compare here. Okay, to yesterday's price action. And again, you can see that similar to the ES, price has managed to come back inside value. So again, would not be out of the realm of possibility that maybe this area down below acts as kind of a little bit of a magnet to price, right? Okay. Yes, things have been good, Sam. Would not be out of the realm of possibility to see maybe some continued price action to the downside in this market now that we've closed back inside this value range. I'm going to take a quick peek. I don't know if I did that with the other market. We'll do this with this market and see what the various sessions we're able to do with this, since we're kind of coming up on the bottom of the hour. I don't want to take too much of that away from you guys, especially for those who trade the opening range breakout trades. So we had a nice move to the upside to the 200% extension in Asia. Moving this to London, we had London offer us, let's see, wait for this to kind of draw in. London appears to be to the downside, waiting for this to recalculate. And there it is. Okay, so we had a failed auction. Okay. Similar to what we were saying, we had a failed auction. Now we're about to reach the 200% extension of London. All right. So Asia higher, London lower. All right. Let's take a look here across all the markets here, guys, and see it. Let's just one final pass. So I would say that entering into the market here, entering into today's session, it appears that we've maybe caught a little bit of a bullish kind of move here in the gold, right? We have 2 consecutive candles with some strength. We are coming into an area that maybe could pose some challenges for the gold market, but I would say that the gold market, as we enter the session, is looking rather bullish. Okay, crude oil. Looking at this from the day session, again, I would say that is still looking rather weak overall. Candles hovering around the 9 EMA and VWAP. Okay, we have some volume here, indicates lower pricing. So I would say that probably range to bearish is kind of what I'm looking at in the crude oil. All right, and then lastly, the equity markets. So looking at the equity markets again, it'll be interesting to see how price reacts around this value area high, and whether participants use this area as maybe a potential area again to maybe offer another leg to the upside, and maybe we stay in range today, right? Maybe we stay in some sort of range. It is Friday. May not be a day that we make a new high, but it would not be out of the realm of possibility that if we get a little bit of a pullback down to the value area high range, right, and offer maybe another leg higher. We're starting to see, as we approach the open of the market here, we're starting to see that maybe we are getting a little bit of bullish participation here. However, we still remain below our 9 EMA and our VWAP, so we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. Okay, I'm going to be looking at the initial balance range and see what the initial balance range offers. But we're at an interesting level where we could potentially get some sort of reversal away from value area high back up to the upside. If we accept value, then I would expect us to rotate all the way down to potentially down to this point of control down below. Yes, I think we have a similar kind of view. We've kind of actually made some inroads inside the value range. I don't think we actually closed it, but we came quite close to it. We have a little bit of different kind of profile here that takes us right around the point of control. Again, a couple of areas here, certainly an area where we could reverse. I see some areas that could cause price to cause this to reverse location wise. It could cause price to reverse, or we can continue this path down to this area. And then I would, again, play out sort of this kind of range kind of price action that we're seeing in this market. So a little bit of mixed information. I would say right now, it appears that we are in some sort of bearish leg, okay, at a level where we could potentially see a reversal in price. But in order for me to really embrace the bulls, I really need to see price above, and I need to see my VWAP and my 9 EMA start to slope higher, okay? And then lastly, I think I would say that a similar kind of view in the Dow, also indicating some bearish kind of price action or bearish kind of continuation kind of trade. We are actually inside value in the Dow, indicating that we could potentially rotate all the way through, all the way down to this 46,706 area. All right. Okay. I think I managed with all the technical difficulties here, guys, to get through the markets here. All right. So again, I'd like to encourage you guys to, if you haven't already, I have 21 some odd folks in this room. If you have not already done so, please hit the like button. Please extend a comment or two to let me know how these sessions are supporting you in your analysis and preparation for the markets. And again, remember, guys, today is Friday. Okay, this is a capital preservation Friday. So no need to be super aggressive today, especially if you've had a good week, right? Especially if you've had a good week. There's no reason to give all that capital back. All right. And again, I'm not necessarily suggesting that you avoid trading today, but yeah, pick your spot, right? And again, this is certainly not a day. This is certainly not a day to be aggressive, right? Because again, market participants may be positioning themselves, on where they would like to be over the weekend, right? And that may not be in any strong directional place, right? Yeah, don't be dumb money today. Exactly. Don't be dumb money today. Be understand the day of the week that we're in, and if you were a hedge fund or investment manager or things of that nature, this may not be the day that you want to make a stand. Okay, all right. So yes, blue skies. If you need a win, be patient, right? And if you walk away with no trade, that's a win. All right, in my book, right? So it's okay. We don't have to force. We don't have to force. Is what I'm trying to right. If the opportunity presents itself, we take it and live with the result, right? Uh, right. No trade, no loss. Correct. Right. That's capital preserved for another day. Right. That maybe where market conditions are more ripe for your strategy. Okay. Well, thanks again, guys. Thanks again for the likes. Thanks again for the support. Again, if you have not hit the like button, please do so. If you have not left a comment in the recent past, please do so on the portal. All right. Yes, we definitely missed some nice gold opportunities to gold, including myself. Okay, I've lost some pretty good gold opportunities. There was a good strong bearish opportunity in gold yesterday. Hopefully, some people were able to take advantage of that. But so if you missed a trade next week, another trade is just around the corner. Okay, don't put in your mindset that you must take a trade, because if you do that, it's going to cause you to do something that you end up regretting. Okay. Yes, the same Pokemon, right? Yeah. If you don't see any entry for it, the best thing to do is sit on the sidelines. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we're starting it when the market has opened. We're starting to see that the market is trying to inch higher here. As you guys know, I'm going to watch and see what opportunities present themselves, but I'm not going to force. So I will go ahead and close that session with that comment. Not force. Don't force trades today, guys. Not necessarily a path of success here. Okay. So trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent weekend, guys, and we'll talk again on Monday.